Maybe we need a song as well. Everybody else has a song.
It's a full house
Yeah.
today. Welcome to Hex Foodies live
Yes.
stream every week at noon Central U.S. time on Tuesdays. Happy Tuesday,
Yeah.
everyone.
Thanks.
Yeah, happy Tuesday.
Finally, like, did you notice this was the first Monday in months that I didn't announce
Yes.
to the group that I'll be late?
So Finbear always comes into chat and he's like, "Oh man, I got something to do this evening. I don't know if I can make it." It's like, dude, it's tomorrow.
Yeah, it's always the same. I'm
I'll
always
grant
like,
you 24 hours. How about that?
yeah. It's been weird.
It's okay. We already know, like, so we just assumed you will be late. But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah. I've been on time a couple of times, at least. And what this is like episode 50 or something. And I've been early twice.
It is about episode 50 or so, or it
Yeah,
feels
something
like.
like
Maybe
that.
it's only 40 actually.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I've been busy.
you know,
I've been busy
this
building
is
my
kind of
greenhouse. What have you
this
guys
is
been
kind
doing?
of my favorite show. Because it's, I think, the most family-friendly version of Extremes. Like,
Oh right.
and and,
Oh yeah, probably.
and plus it's like 2 a.m. here, like, and I like how Eco Builder, just his voice, it's so calming. I can go to sleep listening to it,
Oh, thanks,
which
man.
Oh
mostly
yeah,
I do. Yeah.
yeah. I think it was it Hexonair or somebody who said on the chat that it's gonna be D-Rush and Finbear on one stream. I'm gonna wait a bit and I'm gonna watch it on 2x speed.
Oh. These
We
guys
take our
with
time,
English
man.
as their second language.
Yeah, we take our time, man. I don't know. Is it your like? Do you speak English around the house?
Daraj.
Me?
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
not at all.
yeah.
And it's not that I can't speak fluent English. It's like I don't have respect for English at all, so I don't attempt.
It is a terrible language.
Yeah, it's got
Like
so many
when you're
shadow
trying to learn
spots.
it. Yeah.
Oh gosh,
It's fine.
if it wasn't my
English-
first language, I would avoid it.
English would be great if you just wrote it like we write Finnish. It would be perfect. But the way you write it, and when you compare it
Yeah.
to how the words are like said, it's stupid. It makes no freaking sense. Like, why do you have?
Let's
like,
not go down that route. Let's not go down that
yeah.
route.
I can spend some time in Arkansas. Like, what?
Yeah.
Arkansas,
What's up with
yeah.
Arkansas? Why is it called Arkansas and not Arkansas? Because like Kansas is called Kansas, and you just take the
Kansas?
R from in front of it, and yeah, weird.
Yeah, well, when you live
It is
here, it doesn't really occur to you that those are the same names for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
You're like, no, that starts with an A. No, they're not the same.
Yeah, exactly.
So, SJ, what are you doing? What are you doing right now?
Driving to Ohio.
Is that a van? That doesn't look like a
Ohio.
van.
I'm not in the van. No, I'm following the van.
Okay, so
Oh,
there's
man.
no one to your side right now?
No,
I
not
thought
in here.
whenever
No,
you were
no, there
doing
was
that
a small
video
cat.
yesterday. Okay,
No other people. Yeah, just a cat.
sweet. You did a video today or yesterday?
Yesterday. hmm
Okay. Yeah, I was listening to the intro earlier. You said that you were adopted. My dad is
Yeah.
adopted.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Do you know?
So-
Has he ever connected with his family, his birth family?
Yes.
Okay.
She entered our lives when I was a senior in high school, and my mother
Wow.
or my sister started crying. She was worried that our life was going to change because of this. And I actually gained two cousins that were going to the same university as me,
Oh, nice.
6 hours away
Wow.
at the same time. So that was
Wow.
pretty interesting.
Very cool.
She actually thought that she was going to pass from cancer. She was having cancer treatments, and she lived through it. And now she outlived my grandparents that adopted us.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Pretty interesting.
So it sounds like they still have like a decent relationship and you get to spend
Yeah.
time with her a little bit.
My dad's half sister and my mom go fishing often.
Nice.
They go down to the Gulf and they call their group "Bitches on the Bay," the Bobs, B.O.B. So now that we've completely screwed over the family friendly,
Sorry, D-Rush.
No,
Diraj,
it's
tell us about
like
the seed balls, please.
Yeah, seed balls.
yeah. So basically, it's called seed bombing. Now it's supposed to mimic nature. Like in nature, what happens? Animals eat the seeds and they drop them in their manure at random places. But now the problem is, with there being no forest, there are no forest creatures, and so the cycle is broken. So in order to mimic that, what we do is very simple. We take some seeds, take some compost, manure, whatever, and we add a little bit of clay so that it sticks together and form balls. Depending on your choice, you can have the size may vary, usually around 3 to 4 centimeters in diameter are like good to make, and you drop them during the start of a rainy season, or um, whichever like it depends on your climate as well, right? You cannot be throwing seed balls during a white winter. you
Yeah.
you have
No,
to
but
wait for something.
but if you do, they'll just wait for a better time to germinate. Like the
So
seed ball, one of the great things about seed balls is that because there's the clay element in it, and it's a ball. When it dries up a bit, the seeds are protected against like birds and other critters who might eat the seeds before the growing period becomes like optimal. Sorry to
so
cut you off there.
yeah, that is true, but again depends on the seeds you are planning to
Oh,
plant.
for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so so I think I shared a couple of photos. I think the thumbnail is of the seed balls. This was
Yeah.
a friend of mine. He had planned it about last year, and he created those seed balls a couple of weeks back, and he utilized them last week. Uh, so yeah,
Have
it
you
takes a
seen
bit
any?
of planning.
Yeah, yeah. Have you seen anything come up yet?
Not yet, and I think he planted it in a at his native place, like not in the close to the city. So
Yeah,
we may get results when he visits again.
yeah.
And what he the main objective behind it is to plant fruit trees. So those seed balls were loaded with some local fruit seeds. Uh,
Awesome.
now I think it's called Java plum, and Java plum is like a black currant kind of thing, and other thing was its English name is Christ's thorn, uh, and there were a couple of mango seeds as well, which he planted separately. So that, yeah, and those were created with the he had a help from his kids and their friends.
Oh, did
So
they roll them like they did them by hand?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think Paul Wheaton's video channel has a method of creating seed balls. Yeah, you can just
Yeah, you can
go
you
through it.
can make you can make a long barrel which rolls on its side. I mean, all you basically need is just like a long rubber band and a small wheel that you can attach to whatever, like a drill machine or
Oh,
like a bicycle tire or something, to get the barrel to rotate. And
yeah.
while it's rotated, like a concrete mixer of sorts. And hey, Billy. And yeah, while it's rolling, you first throw in the dried compost and the dry clay, and then the first seeds that you want, and just start sprinkling water gently, because once the clay picks up any water, it's gonna start to pick up the seeds and all the other muck from the barrel. And as it keeps rolling, you add a little bit of clay, all the balls dry up, and then a little bit more water and different sets of seeds, so you can have like these layers of seeds on each of the balls.
Mhm.
And you don't so
Yeah.
you don't
Uh,
end up with a situation where you have like one ball the size of an orange that holds all the apple seeds, and then like several smaller balls that hold all the smaller seeds.
Each ball has to be like an egg size or smaller, right?
Well,
We're talking about like a
preferably,
chicken
like,
egg
yeah,
down to a
like a,
little birdie egg.
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I'll be right back. We just stopped somewhere and I don't know where we are or what we're doing. So
Sweet.
All
Go
right,
consult.
it's gonna be exciting.
Use Google Maps.
Yeah,
Use Google
hopefully,
Maps.
He's
yeah,
got a
ho-
pee.
hopefully she doesn't get abducted or something. I saw
Yeah.
strange lights. I'll stop.
Yeah. The thing is, what you mentioned, it's good to have or easier when you are doing at a large scale. If you are
Yeah,
doing it on a small scale, like what was done here, yeah, kids love to make like playing in mud anyways. And
yeah, they'll do it for
if
free.
you're and if you're not paying them in cash, it's not child labor. So so,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah,
yeah, it works both ways. Plus they'll get to learn about how like things
yeah,
germinate, etc.
yeah.
And after that
That's
you
an
can throw them in.
yeah, that's an important thing for kids to learn. I remember when our kids found their first dead bird. We had our older house had these huge windows, and usually what happens when you have large windows that don't have anything in between them anywhere, and if you don't have curtains behind the glass, the birds can't tell that there's a window. They think that it's just like a hole in the wall, and they try to fly in and break their neck. So we found some small bird that had died. The kids come and show it to me, and I'm like, all right, guys, what do you want to do with it? And my son's like, let's put it in the compost. And he goes and gets the shovel and goes, they wanted to see the bird compost immediately. I was like, dude, this is going to be a
Yeah.
couple of weeks, but yeah, like this circle of life thing, that's the easiest way to teach your kids about that kind of stuff.
I
Gardening
mentioned this once in a live stream that over at Paul Wheaton's place, they had this piss palace where all the men go to pee on a bunch of sawdust, and through there was a coil to heat water naturally for the showers right next to it. But
yeah.
somebody had the grand idea of burying a possum inside of that, and it never
Oh,
decomposed. So they had to deconstruct the
did
whole
it
thing.
explode?
No,
gross.
no. Instead, it
why
was
didn't
just a very
why didn't
nasty
it
situation.
decompose? Well, too much nitrogen. Did it start to rot?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess there wasn't enough diversity in there. It was just too specific.
Yeah, yeah.
One
Usually,
thing, too much of one thing.
like a roadkill in compost is usually like good news.
I think that's what the point was. Yeah, it was roadkill because
Yeah.
they're right off of a highway and several feeder roads.
Yeah,
And
but
then
usually like roadkill is perfect. It's gone in like if you have a good,
I
well
guess there was nothing
working
to eat it.
compost. Yeah, it's that's probably because there was so much sawdust, and sawdust is still very slow to react. So there's a lot of carbon, but that carbon is still sort of within the sawdust, and it takes so long for the carbon to break up from the wood that it doesn't have time to react with the dead critter. I
And they
think.
probably thought that the sawdust was a really good idea because they were pissing on it over and over. You know, like you got 20 males on the property. They're all going to the piss palace.
No,
But
well,
the piss
that's
palace
gonna
is no
yeah.
more. There is no more piss palace.
Oh, did it even work? Like, did they get it to heat up at all, or did
It was a
did they?
mediocre shower. You weren't taking a cold
Mm.
shower, but it was only one shower at a
So
time
did they call
per
it the
day.
golden shower?
No, but that's a really good idea.
They should have.
So
Yeah.
speaking of Paul Wheaton's place, that's where I last saw seed balls being made, and they were about egg shaped. I posted them inside the Hex Foodies chat last year,
Yeah.
and they were. It was during a workshop, and they did them inside of a plastic container about this big, and so they were able to just move everything around with their hands. So they got really messy whenever they were doing it, and then they would ball it up, and then they put it inside of egg cartons to keep each one of them separate, as opposed to just right out there on the countertop. Like it looks like these are set in this image here. These are set on a balcony surface, so
Yeah.
plenty of air to dry out.
It seems like a lot of work to be putting seed balls into egg cartons. Like, I've been dreaming about seed balls and using seed balls like seed balling the Sahara or something. Like on a big scale, seed balling is an awesome thing. But on a smaller scale, it's kind of like a hobby where you get to know things. But I'm more of the type that if you want to do something, you got to do it big to make it count.
I
Like if
love
you
the
wanna
way
if you wanna plant an apple tree, like plant 15. It's almost the same effort.
you're right. Well, you've already got all the tools and everything.
Yeah.
I love the way that you described seed balls to Marcus earlier in the chat.
Yeah, that was
Marcus
what.
was wondering what were seed balls about. He was thinking that it was about feeding animals, right?
Yeah, but using the same mechanics that Diraj explained, like animals eat an apple or something, and they're like going on about their business, and all of a sudden they get the movement, and then you got the seed over there already fertilized, like ready to go. And some seeds don't even germinate if they suspect that they haven't gone through a digestive system. So that's why it's really difficult to germinate, like uh, avocados, for instance. There used to be what like the giant sloths and whatever, all kinds of animals that ate. Oh, look at that fucker!
We have a turtle. Oh, that's so cute.
So is
Master
that
Google.
yeah?
This turtle is just coming and saying hi to you.
Hey, quick jump on it! You get some extra coins, and then you can kick it. Bling!
Do-do-do-do. I'm inside
Yeah.
of a whale, you guys. This is a whale of a
pretty
tail.
That's
Oh,
heavy.
so the turtle's used to visitors. That turtle was
Yeah.
flirting with you.
Yeah, it totally was. Turtle's like, sup,
Yeah.
girl?
Yeah.
Where are you
I
going?
dare you to kick me. Oh, look at that, man. We do not have stuff like that over here.
So do you think Fukuoka, Masanobu Fukuoka, originated seed balls?
He's the first one I've heard of using the technique.
Sweet. Diraj,
was
it's
a-
so nice to have you on the stream, man. Thanks for
Yeah,
making this one.
Yeah. So it's like farming and food production is it something that you wanna get into? Like you shared the Did you share the video about
He's developing a
Uh,
property that's in his family.
Yeah. Currently, I'm not like I like my uncles are taking care of it, but yeah, someday I will have to step in and like they are using our traditional or what you call commercial type of farming. Uh, you cannot like
Yeah,
on day one change it. A lot of things have to like you have to
you
get
have to
things in
ease them
place.
in. Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to ease them in, but you can change quite a bit. Like if you go from the year you take over to the second year you've already established yourself. The second year can look quite a bit different from your first year when you're sort of winding down all the other systems and starting to plant your own things and designing stuff to work for you. Because I
Yeah.
would, without knowing too much about your uncles, I would dare to bet that they are, if they're not losing money, they're pretty close to breaking even or not making a fat
Yeah.
profit. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that
I know.
is that's the fault of the system that they're running under. That's not like a fault of their own. That's like buying the seeds from these big companies using all their all the sprays, fungicides and herbicides and all that stuff. That's just slowly, year by year, it's making them less and less money and making them more and more dependent on all of the all of the extra
Uh,
inputs that they need to
yeah.
put in there.
Yeah. It's like it's like our farm is like on a small scale, so we can get by, and like we don't really depend on the farm. But for those who do, it's becoming a havoc, especially in India,
Yeah.
because people are like these big conglomerates have got the farmers addicted to their stuff. Like you need
Oh
to
yeah.
use their specific seeds,
And you
otherwise
can't say, and you can't save your seeds. You have to buy them
yeah,
every year. That's ridiculous stuff, man.
yeah. And
And
that
even
is the sorry, just one
go on.
point here, because we are talking about seeds. Why seed bombs? So we want trees that germinate from seed. You can
Oh yeah.
have so that we can propagate the cycle further. It's
Yes.
not so, and that's the thing. We spray a lot of seed balls, like throw them away. Out of maybe 1,000, maybe one or two may germinate, but those are like if that happens, it's sufficient for us. And
Oh, and
while
a lot more will germinate. I would imagine out of 1,000, you have at least 800,
uh,
900 germinate. And
yeah,
then,
but
but if
sorry,
you have a, yeah, if you have a lot of different
established.
varieties, yeah, if you have a lot of different varieties, hopefully there's like out of each seed ball, you'll get at least one plant, maybe two in succession, and that's already kicking the sort of the ball down the road. That's already introducing new life into the system if it's already been degraded. So it's already a step towards the right direction. And it still leaves some seeds in the ground waiting for a better time sometime in the future.
Yeah, and the other thing is, yeah, we are trying to get like more fruit trees, so that we can have a kind of a fruit forest, food forest. So
Yeah.
we can forage out off of it,
What
and
about peanuts or any nut trees or stuff like that? Do you guys have those?
Nitrogen fixers.
Yeah,
yeah,
and a source of protein.
yeah, like yeah, these are like right now what those seed balls included were like big trees. After that we can think of planting other things, like there are
Yeah.
layers to form.
Oh,
So
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So
uh,
you've been. It sounds like you've been listening to a lot of permaculture guys. You're talking about stories and stacking up like
Yeah,
living things in your farm. So there's a lot of like,
yeah,
dude, yeah,
yeah,
get that stuff growing. Sounds like
yeah.
you
Uh,
got your ducks lined up already.
yeah. And the plan is, I like once I am able to, I will have a seminar, and I will have you, Finbear, talking as a international expert on permaculture, and you
Yes.
can talk in English. I will be the translator for the people in
Awesome, man.
the local group.
Yeah, it's gonna
So
take
yeah,
forever.
it no, while translating, like you will already have a script, right? So I will already have the translation. I'm
Yeah,
not
you'll have
so,
it ready.
I don't speak so slow when I'm talking in
Yeah.
my local language, so it should
Oh,
be okay.
that'd be awesome, man. Whereabouts in India is this, man?
Mumbai, that is Mumbai
Nice.
and around
I know
Mumbai.
the place.
Yeah, I- like it's the financial capital of
Do I
India.
have to take
So,
part in any human experiments to fly over?
uh, right now I don't think so, but I'm not
That
sure.
would be a great
Uh,
idea.
yes,
I'll
these are a
fly
kind of
over. I'll fly over. I'll buy one of those Enfield motorbikes that you guys still make over there, and I'll drive the motorbike home. That'd be
yeah.
awesome.
That would be awesome. Just the route to Finland, it goes through Afghanistan, I guess.
Yeah,
So
a bit.
a bit.
But hey,
So
dude,
yeah, you
I got a
can still
beard,
go
man.
there. Yeah,
I got a
just
beard. I put my burqa on and
yeah.
be driving my motorbike.
But the
That won't
thing
fly, man.
is, Enfield motorcycles are great to have in India, not so much abroad. Mainly because they typically break down,
Yeah,
like like you, and because you are they are meant to be like going through a heavy like bad terrain, like you end up end up breaking down. If you're in India, it's okay because you will get replacement parts
yeah.
immediately,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
uh, abroad,
Anywhere else, yeah, it's gonna be a while for the spare parts to
and
arrive.
that too, like it's you need to be a part of a kind of a club like they have for Harley
Yeah,
Davidsons. Like
that's why all the
otherwise,
Harley guys.
otherwise, if you are using like an old motorbike, you like what you call vintage one, then you are not going to be able to find spare parts. It's
Yeah,
like
that's why all the Harley
my
guys.
dad had one. It had to be sold in scrap because no spare parts were available. And
Yeah,
if it was well maintained, it would have been like a very vintage bike. I still feel bad for it, but anyways, that's how things go.
yeah, yeah.
Hex on Air wants to know, first of all, how much does your keynote cost, Finbear? And then he says that he'll carry
Oh,
your
I'm
seed case if
expensive.
you go.
Yeah, it's at least like I'm like for me to do a keynote, it's at least like 3 6 packs. So that's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
18 bottles of beer.
but I hope Finbear will accept payment in Hex, so that would be okay for me, I guess.
No, 18 beers. I demand physical beers. I don't want any of that
Okay,
tokenized stuff.
Hex Belly knows
okay,
what the
that's even
triangle of
better.
death is. What is the triangle of death?
Uh,
Well,
Is that a
anything
place on
if
the
you
map?
uh,
if you go
Is
from
that
India
here?
towards Finland, there's Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, and
This
then
whole
I get
thing?
to Turkey. That's
So between Russia and
I could go up.
what is it? The Red Sea? the Baltics, the red, and India. Is that the
No, Baltics are way higher. Baltics are
Baltics are
next
up
to
here?
me. No, up higher. There,
Oh,
yeah, there. There's the Baltic
yes,
Sea.
Baltic Sea.
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason, I was
I've been
thinking it
there
was an
once.
inland sea.
No, it's not. It's almost an inland sea, but if you look at Denmark, that's where we get like
That's
this.
amazing.
Yeah, that's where we get this saltwater pulse that happens every 2 years or something. There's like a big tidal wave that brings in a lot of salty water into the entire area. So that's
Oh,
like
wow.
brackish water, almost the entire Gulf and the sea, because there's a lot of rivers that draw down into it. But next to Denmark is the only place where we get like salty water in there. So that's like brackish almost the entire sea.
Family friendly.
Oh man, you're the one who decided to put that up there, man.
Yeah. Yep. Because I saw my mother today, so I knew it wasn't. He wasn't talking to me.
Uh,
So I wanted
Yes.
to tell everybody that tomorrow I'm gonna head up to Navajo Nation. I'm gonna go to Four Corners to meet up with our buddy Benjamin Mutton. And
You're gonna be walking the trail.
yeah,
I was gonna ask last week that when is it gonna happen?
we're gonna meet in this area. There's the connection of the 4 states, and then we're gonna hike, I believe, up to this greener area, so a little bit southwest, and that should be about 20 miles. He gave me a checklist. Oh, and Rogue Herbalist is going to come as well. Rogue Herbalist, I need you to be there by Saturday morning. So Friday night or Saturday morning. But yeah, so I need to drive tomorrow. I need to drive out of Texas and the next day through New Mexico to get up here. And then after
man.
that, we're going to join Oren, both of us. Benjamin Mutton and I are going to join Oren up at Wheaton Labs, which is over here near Missoula, Montana. And so that's going to be another, 12 hours in a car or something. So it'll take me about 14 hours to get up to Four Corners, and then maybe another 14 hours to get up to Montana after that. If I was to drive straight up to Missoula, it would take me 24 hours. I've done it before.
Dang. I love Missoula. It's a
Nice.
cool little town.
Oh, it's just lovely. The person who served me coffee this morning told me that her wedding and honeymoon were in Missoula.
Nice.
Now I told her
Interesting honeymoon destination, but cute.
I told her I'll jump off the bridge for her. So in the downtown area, there's the river going through, and everybody isn't supposed to jump off the bridge, but it's just so awesome to do so.
And that's Butte, Montana, right next to it, or is it
Butte?
Booze Man. What funny names you got there.
So if I'm correct, Butte, it looks like a bald hill because they just like chopped all the wood in the area, and sadly, it hasn't regrown on a bunch of those hills.
Yeah, it's funny how the seeds really struggle to go up a hill. But once they're up there, no problem going further down.
Good call.
Yeah.
Maybe
one thing
deserve to be on top.
D-Rush, one thing, you were talking about growing trees from seeds, and Paul Wheaton that Dabin is going to meet, he speaks very highly about the importance of growing trees from seeds, and one of the reasons he likes it is because when a tree grows on the spot where it's gonna grow forever, and it grows from seed, its primary root stays intact for the duration. So the biggest primary first root always is the longest one, and if it stays intact, it goes way deeper than if you have a tree that you have to replant several times, because no matter how careful you are when you're moving the tree, you're gonna snip the tip off. the main root, and that's going to prune. Like if you tip the growing tip of a plant, it's gonna prune the entire plant, and it's gonna change the hormones and stuff. And the main root is gonna stop growing, and it's going to grow like 5 or 9 roots from a bit higher up, and those are gonna be the new main tap root, because the first one is damaged. So if you grow trees from seeds, they're gonna tap into deeper aquifers. They're gonna bring in water and nutrients from way deeper than planted trees can. Trees that are planted afterwards, or replanted rather.
Yeah, and there is already research. I think it was Indian scientist. I think it was J.C. Bose or someone. Not sure, but like even when you transplant a tree, the tree does get a big amount of stress and shock, like what a human or animal would. So that itself
Any transplant.
so that itself kind of stunts its growth because it releases those stress hormones. um, and
Yeah,
yeah,
and
so
taurine is also correct. Like you can craft, like ideal, like thinking
Grafting,
about thinking about like apple trees, for instance. It would be ideal if you had seeds to the good rootstock, and you could just grow the rootstock trees where you plan to have good apple trees. And once that rootstock apple tree sprouted for like or grew for like a year or two, you can then craft the variety that you want to grow into the rootstock, which is still growing in where you planted the seed. That would be perfect. But I don't know if I could. I would struggle to find good rootstock in a seed form. That's why they grow the rootstock, because it's really hard to find.
My opinion of planting straight from seed is the moisture. It's used to a certain allowance of moisture.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And because it has to acquire all the water it gets,
And
it
let's
also
say
has to
temperature as
grow
well.
deeper. Oh yeah, for sure, yeah. And seeds
Whenever
are
I
a
do
lot.
transplanting,
Go
I
on.
was just going to say that I try to follow the farmer's almanac in terms of days, because if you have to transplant, right, if you're uprooting something and moving it, like you're saying about the moisture, it's important to know, what the cycle is at that time. If the moon's
Yeah.
waxing or waning, it's important because that's going to affect the moisture in the ground as well.
Oh yeah, I love the moon cycles. I used to community garden with this old doctor, and his joke to me whenever I would talk about the moon cycles is, "We ain't planting on the moon. We're not trying to garden on the moon."
Yeah. To be honest, guys, I don't give a damn about the moon things. To
Dude,
me,
I
it
love it.
seems like we don't get any moon over here when it
Oh,
matters.
You got to
Like,
get it while
the
you can
sun
get it
is
up
up.
there.
Like, dude, 2:30 at night, the sun is freaking shining into my eye when I'm trying to get some sleep. And at 5 o'clock in the morning, if I have to go and go to the toilet or something, I do not have to put on the lights anywhere. It's just as walking in during the daytime is ridiculous. So it's really difficult for me to
so
sleep.
I'm a Cancerian, so my moon, my, my sign is ruled by the moon. So I always follow the moon. I even have a moon tracker on my watch.
Are you a
I
Cancer?
can go there.
Are you a
Like,
Cancer? Is your birthday coming up?
yes.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah.
Ooh.
When are you guys born?
You know what's funny? Hexray Vision, his birthday is like the day before mine, and Rogue Herbalist is the day
When's
after
your
mine,
birthday? Like,
the last day of this month.
No doxing,
okay.
No, no.
No,
but
of course not.
but my and middle class working men from the Hexasian stream. We
Oh yeah,
share the
yeah.
same birthday, so that was a coincidence. Like,
Happy early
yeah.
birthday,
Yeah.
Cancerians.
So basically, what I'm warning you guys is if you see a big red candle on the chart,
You're getting
on the
birthday
hex chart,
present
it was a birthday celebration. Warning you ahead of time.
in advance. Yeah. Well, please, one helicopter is enough. Please.
Yeah.
You don't have to you don't have to win Richard in everything, man.
Not a helicopter. I have a private jet. I don't. I don't know whether I should share this. Let me see if I can find the photo.
You have
Uh,
a picture of it.
Hexaphy
That's
is giving
interesting.
us all sorts. Turin is just giving us all sorts of info about how he's ridden the tides of the moon cycles. He hunts
Awesome,
during
man.
the moon cycles, or based on the moon cycles.
Mm.
He used to cut grass based on it.
There's so many.
Uh,
Cut your hair based on the moon cycle. Clip your toenails.
Oh,
It's a
that would be
thing.
interesting.
Is that a thing?
Toenails?
It's a thing. There's like, I think
Really?
so. It's like trimming, like trimming all your.
Go to the dentist.
All the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it like when it's
Get
raining?
surgery.
When do you
I
do it?
forget. I don't
Uh,
remember.
Oh
Actually-
man, how can you forget like
Yeah.
important stuff like that? How can
I
you
know.
forget it?
The moon.
Whenever the fluids aren't flowing is when you would want surgery, right? You don't want to
There you go.
hit a vein. So more people die in the hospital whenever. Okay, that's another thing. The emergency room, it just goes crazy during full moons.
Mm-hmm. People are crazy during full moon.
I don't know if that's.
It is.
Oh my god, I don't know if that's actually a thing.
Uh-huh.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Oh, that's definitely a thing.
I accumulated that information whenever I was in college, and I talked to everybody about it. That's the only thing I have in common with nurses. Let's talk about the moon.
There's actually a streamer. I can't remember who it was, but he was on Crypto Coffee's stream, maybe within the last couple of weeks, who spoke about
Moon cycles
crypto
on trading.
and yeah, I thought
Yeah.
that was amazing.
Yeah,
Did
that's
Did
really
he?
cool.
Was he the guy who broke up all that magic math? Was it the same guy? Crypto Coffee had an excellent guest today. Like right before we started, I had to
Yeah, the
hop off
Bitcoin.
of his stream. Yeah, he had a
Did you see
like
that?
that guy was
Good stuff.
that guy was smart. And
Yep.
Talk about Hex.
He had Hex.
Is he a Hex? Okay.
Yeah, he had Hex, and he was buying Hex. He had liquidity. He was providing liquidity up or down to 1 cent, and he was like, "Man, if it drops to 1 cent, that's perfect. I'm just gonna withdraw my liquidity and take my Hex." And he's getting paid all the time. Like that dude was clever. He knew what's up. What's up. He likes Richard. Like I clipped a few like 15-second clips live as they were talking, and I shared them in the Hex main chat. He had a lot of good stuff. You should
Yeah,
really.
I heard somebody say the other day how like Pulse X is going to expose so many hexagons to this this capability of earning percentages on the tradings. It's like right now hexagons, like not everybody's dibble dabbling in it, but we're going to cooperate with Pulse X.
Yeah. I'm gonna do my single-sided staking with PulseX. That's like I'm just trying to not touch it for a long time.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
that's my plan with my Pulse also is to just divvy it up into several small wallets, do individual stakes to validators, like just validate all the good guys, and then just remove the wallets from everywhere online and just have them like in like cold wallets in my freaking back pocket.
They're dead to you.
I want to make it so difficult for me to go and log in and end my stake, because there's no actual locking period for pulse. It's a very dangerous time for anybody who is new, because the next 2 years you're gonna struggle to hold on to your pulse, because it's gonna be like, first it's gonna feel like a great idea to sell, then it's probably gonna correct really like harshly, and then there's all that regret, why didn't I sell when it was so high, and oh my, yeah, all that. SJ immediately gets me.
Me too.
And so the only way that we can sort of try to relieve that stress is to try to find something that even mimics like proper staking. And the only way I can see doing it is by making the end staking part just difficult technically. So I would have to type in all my seeds and stuff, and like bring back the wallet that I locked up. And if I have a lot of wallets, then maybe I'm like, okay, fine, I'll leave these 15 alone, because there are so many. So that's like, I'm counting on my laziness.
I'm imagining
you-
all of us Hexicans
could-
traveling the world, and Finbear's like stuck at his house because he's looking through his basement trying to find his shit.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's down
My
here
last-
somewhere.
my last titanium, spacer is missing. I don't know where the fuck it is.
I'll
man.
join you guys after I find it. I just need to find one of them.
Yeah,
I had
yeah,
this like visual in my head of like comparing a seed bomb to a seed phrase. Like in the seed bomb, there's like, all the seeds are your words, and then you're putting them in, like
Yeah.
maybe you're putting them on metal, and that's the mud, and then maybe you've got your treasure, and that's the clay. Oh,
Oh man.
crypto.
Yeah, it's
I'm,
funny.
I'm imagining a Rubik's Cube now that you're saying that.
Oh yeah.
It's where it's
a
like,
seed.
it's there, but you just have
Yeah,
to like
it's
figure it out.
Yeah.
Crack the code.
Yeah. Oh man, it's been a long day over here. I've spent a couple of days already putting the greenhouse together, and it's
Nice.
big. It's like 3.5 meters, or a bit more than 3.5 meters wide, and it's over 8 meters. Sort of, what's the word? Long, tall,
Yeah.
long. 8
Wide
meters.
and
So that's
length,
like
yeah.
24 square meters. So it's a big ass greenhouse.
When are we gonna
Uh,
get pictures?
Yeah.
Well, I want to get it like at least halfway up, because I've only got the arcs done and sort of the sides connected to the arcs, because like it's
Are you gonna
made
have a
in
door
Russia.
in the front and the back?
No, just the front.
Okay.
It's made in Russia. That's not like necessarily a bad thing, although like it's this aluminum profile, the frame is. But the thing is, everything is cut to shape, and it has like 500 separate parts, like all kinds of fasteners, this tape, but don't use that tape, because if you use, that's a huge mistake. But you use this one, and you put it on the top of the thing, not the bottom of the thing. There's all sorts of traps where you can like walk into, and all of these parts, they're like, they come in small packages. They're individually taped and marked with Russian letters. That's awesome. So I get to like learn my Russian alphabet. That's super.
It shouldn't be
there's,
hard,
like,
right?
This look
You-
like 4
you enjoy that,
HKN. Yeah, that's like that's the same, but the N is different, so that's completely different. Oh my god, I gotta go through everything so carefully, because once you put it all together, you don't want to see that, I put the middle part in the end. So I gotta take all of this down, because otherwise I can't put the ends into the greenhouse.
Yeah.
So yeah. So everybody needs like a Russian buddy to help
Are the
you
instructions
go through.
cool?
The instructions are
Like
in,
I'm always enticed by line drawings.
the instructions are pretty cool. Like they're better than most of the stuff you get from IKEA. And there's instructions in Russian, and then there also I think I saw instructions in Finnish as well, but the pictures are all in Russian and they don't coincide with the written instructions. So it's a bit of a challenge.
Hmm.
But I'm already halfway there. It's looking like a greenhouse. So yeah, if it all
At
goes
least
bad,
You got this, Finbear. I believe in you.
I'm just gonna pull a tarp over it and
Yeah.
call it done.
Perfect.
at least now we have this thing like Google Translate. We can use it to translate stuff. I don't
Can you
know.
take
Yeah,
pictures of it these days?
and if
Yeah,
it gets
Google Lens. Have you
Okay.
tried Google Lens?
I
It
have
like
not.
works like a charm.
Awesome.
Like and like I traveled through China using Google Translate. It was fun. Like
Sweet.
oh
talking to people, like type in and speak out loud, then it would say the question in Chinese. Then you ask them to speak into that phone and it translate to English. But
cool.
mostly it was sign language. But I traveled from Shanghai to
That's
Beijing
actually
doing that.
that's
It's
actually
fun.
how Finnish works. Finnish
Yeah.
works perfect. Like if you're in Spain and you're in a bar and it's difficult to get service, you just speak Finnish louder and they understand you and they bring you more beer or food or whatever it is that you point. That's magic. Davin, I sent a picture of how far I've become, like how far I've gotten. It's in your
Permission to
Telegram.
share.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. You
But
can actually you
I
can
never have
actually
problem. Sorry,
go
sorry.
ahead.
Just
No, go ahead.
yeah.
I'll tell mine when we see the picture.
Yeah. So regarding food, ordering food, I just use the menu and show them, point a finger. I want
Yeah,
this one plate, one
yeah,
that works everywhere. And
yeah.
now that like international tourism is so common now, most of the things have pictures on it. So at least you
Mm.
can just point to the
I
picture.
remember when I was younger, I was in France with some mates, and we were sitting in this cafeteria, and there was this really hot looking chick sitting on the table next to us, and she had this huge muscle of a man sitting with her, and they were eating, and well, I was eating. We didn't have any salt, and I was like, dude, I don't have any salt on the table. And I saw they had a salt shaker on their table, so I go to the missus like, excuse me, ma'am, can you pass the salt? And she was like one of those Frenchy chicks who doesn't speak a word of English, and she was like, and I was like, the salt, man, the salt, and I did like this, and the guy next to me was like, oh man, he got so upset. We got into this thing a bit,
Hey,
yeah, and so I
excuse me.
after the waiter separates us, and I go to the toilet to wash my face and shit, and I'm like, there's this guy next to me, and he's bleeding out of his nose, and he's like getting paper, and he's washing his nose. Like, I was like, oh dude, what's wrong with you? Did you ask for the salt too? And he was like, no man, I asked for the pepper. Sorry.
He asked the guy for the pepper.
Oh, dude. Funny stuff. But
Hey,
hey, please,
so
please
these
put the
are.
picture back. Put the
I
picture
will.
back.
These are pieces of live oak from let's see, from my parents' house.
My
I
son would murder you for those,
I
dude.
found out that live oak does a really good job of turning corners and making it to where you can have handles, right?
Oh yeah.
So I got these in preparation for going to Montana in order to see if they could use them in their natural building sites. But today, my parents asked me to cut some limbs, and so I acquired a few more. But they've got bark on it, and they're messy and stuff. I've stripped these of bark. Okay, we're going back to your thing.
Those look pretty awesome. I actually my
You would
mom's
murder me for
father,
them? Gosh.
my mom's dad actually used to go around. his forest and bend tree branches to make them into door handles and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. So there we see my our family's hex flex over there, smack in the middle of the frame. You're looking at a pool heater in a country that is frozen half the year. because why not? But
It's just
yeah,
sitting out there in the
behind it.
middle.
Yeah, I'm gonna cover it
Cover it?
up with
Okay.
this like a fake stone type of thing. I'm gonna yeah, you won't see a lot of it once I'm done. But you
What
you
kind
should
of
be able to
roof will it have?
like it's gonna look like it has
Shed
like
roof?
three. It's gonna look like there's like three stones set standing next to it and a stone slab on top of it.
So that you can still reach in and
Yeah,
work on it?
and and you can lift the whole thing away and like basically take it apart if you want. But it's gonna look solid enough so that nobody wants to steal it.
By the way, SJ says that she's out of range for her cell phone, so she is not
Yeah.
going to be joining us any longer.
Yeah, all right. Well, it was great having you here for
It was
as long
great
as it
having you.
lasted.
Drive safe.
Yeah, that's the important thing. You don't want to be looking at the screen while you're driving.
And there is no shame in asking for directions. Remember that. Sometimes
Oh, yeah.
sometimes Google Map don't show the correct route.
Oh,
It's okay to ask locally.
oh. If
Can
you
you
think
imagine-
if you think Google Maps is hard, Jesus Christ, Nokia Maps was terrible. Like that thing drove me in. Like back in like when Nokia was all the rage, I used it for my GPS thing, like on my phone.
Yeah.
I used to get like so lost. Sometimes like I was like it was like a 15-kilometer sprint, and I found myself like 30 kilometers in the forest, like this miserable, like it's not even like a dirt road, it's more like a pathway for freaking bears and elk or something, and I'm driving there, like there's signs that say you can't drive a snow scooter on this road, and I'm like, dude, why did my phone tell me to get here, man?
All roads are equal, bro. All roads are equal.
yeah
As you've been
Hey, Red
talking, I've
Squirrel.
been thinking about like how people are directed to these charging stations, and like if these maps aren't right, oh my gosh, these people run out of battery.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
So you got your,
imagine like self-driving cars.
This
What
is
a
how
stupid
far
idea.
you are on your
Yeah.
hoop house?
So each of the arcs comes in 1, 2, 3 three separate parts. So one of the arcs is like 3 separate components. The ends of the hoop house are different from any of the middle parts of the hoop house. So there's that. And then
That
the
makes sense.
spines that go like lengthways, they're not the same. That one is not the same as the one above it or the one next to it. So there's like all sorts of exciting things to keep in consideration. Also, all the bolts are like I think like 4 millimeter threads with a 7 millimeter like bolt ends. So I've screwed into my finger
I
like a
see
million times. Like I got like these round my fingerprints probably are different from when I had my passport a few months ago, because I got these small circular wounds all over. So
Wow,
yeah, it
dude.
hurts when I touch anything. It's like painful.
Are they
to-
self-driving screws or what?
No, not even. No. So there's like a hole drilled for them, and you need to have the screw and the nut on the other side, and you screw into the nut. And it's so small, like 7 millimeter nut. I can barely like. That's
If
to
you
my
dropped it on the
hand,
ground, it would be really hard.
like us. Yeah, dude. I can squeeze one between my teeth if I have to. It's ridiculously small. I wouldn't mind
You
like
could
a
floss with it.
bigger nut. Yeah.
Okay, so do they have any washers for you to use?
You don't need washers for those, but there are washers in the kit. There are places where washers are needed, and I will need to use washers when I screw the plastic on top. The plastic is actually there behind in the brown cardboard thing over there, leaning on something.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought you were going to have some glass, but instead, this is replace every 3 years plastic.
That's actually it should last for at least 5 years. It is like this
That's what
hard
you think.
plastic that it has this airspace in between the top and the bottom layer.
What if a bird runs into it?
Fuck, the bird is curved, so it'll just bounce off like. Bing.
Dong,
Yeah.
dong, dong.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
It should actually hold pretty substantial winds. Like it should last like 30 meters per second winds, and I think I'm gonna sink it into the ground a bit and maybe make like concrete footing for it,
Yeah.
just to make it a bit more sturdy. I'm seriously considering getting some illegal chickens and maybe some outlaw meat rabbits that I could keep.
I thought you were going to exchange some air with the interior of your house as well. You're not going to do that?
No, that would be that would be something that I wanna incorporate into the next house I build. I wanna have something leaning next to the house already, like a lean-to greenhouse in front of the house, and I could take some of that heat and run it through the flooring of the living quarters.
What if you just encompassed your pool heater and then you would have heat generated inside of the controlled environment?
Yeah, I could. Yeah, you could actually use you could use the exhaust of the pool heater to cool the greenhouse if you had to, because the pool heater creates a lot of cold
Oh, I was thinking the
from
opposite.
the fan. Yeah,
But Finbear, if you don't mind, how much does that greenhouse setup cost? Like,
it's like maybe like a grand, like €1,000 or something. It
that's
was
quite.
it was really, it felt really cheap, and like the pieces are high quality once you get it together, and like it's designed well. The only difficult part for me is that I do not understand any any of the markings on any of the individual parts, so it takes a while for me to figure out that I'm like absolutely sure that this piece of the arc is actually the right piece of the arc, that I'm not putting the end of the arc in the middle, because then like all the other parts that are supposed to attach to it, they don't attach to it.
Yeah, but I like the fact that you are using the manual at least. Like,
Yeah, well, we're already well beyond the point where I'm telling anybody that I'm just gonna go and do it without the manual. That was pretty clear once the thing came to my yard. There was like 8 boxes of random stuff. It's like,
Oh gosh.
so SJ, it's not illegal to keep chickens, but if you put your name on a list of people who have chickens, and then Klaus says that it's illegal for you to have chickens, you're on the list. And my point is, if being on the list is not mandatory, or even if it is, but breaking the law is not like more than maybe you get a fine or something, I'd much rather just pay the fine if that ever comes up, and I'll keep my chickens underground.
Hey
Underground
Finbear, if you ever
chickens,
change
best.
your name, change it to Finn Squirrel so that you and Red Squirrel can like climb around the yard and chase each other.
We have like quite a few squirrels on our yard, like 3 or 4 at least. They're really upset with me because I took
hide your
down,
nuts.
I took down their spruce trees. But I'm gonna plant some replacements. Oh, you're gonna make a shirt or something.
So these are
They're for
wool.
wool.
Yeah. I picked these up at a my ex-girlfriend's mother's storage unit. She was
Mm.
just holding on to some junk. A lot of people
Yeah,
do that here in the States. And
they work
so
like
whenever
this
it
way.
was that I saw these and she told
They-
me what they were, I was like, well, I'm going to an area where like they actually could use them. Would you like for me to take them off your hands? She was like, yeah, sure. You can have
Yeah.
these. So I'm going to take these up to Benjamin.
So they work like this way, like this. You take them like that, and you turn one against each other, one against the other, and then you can comb them like that. And then when you want to get it out, you turn them like same way up, and then and you get like this roll of combed wool out of it.
Interesting. I figure he'll
I think I still
show
have
me.
it in my jeans because we've had those for hundreds of years over here.
Yeah, you knew exactly. You hopped to it. There's still some wool inside this one.
Oh,
And then Benjamin told me
I bet it
that
stinks.
that yeah, like antique storage unit stuff. It doesn't stink like anything particular.
Not like lanolin.
It smells like an old woman's living room, and she's got an old house, and there's a little bit of damp wood. And at one point, she had like cloth on the carpet and cloth on her.
Close your eyes, smell it again, and tell us who did she vote for in the last presidential election?
Which one? The person who
The,
owned this, or the
the
ex-girlfriend's
last
mother?
one she voted in. Is it like a Jackson? A voter.
Too silly. Too silly. Benjamin told me that there was this local guy that had electric shears, and he allowed him to use his electric shears whenever he was shearing the sheep last time or this season. And so he's going to save up his money to buy some electric shears. So
Yeah,
that
those
seems pretty
guys,
interesting.
like, if you're good at shearing sheep, it's amazing. That's like, how can you shear an entire animal in like under a minute? And the dudes
Yeah,
do it with
super
bare
fast.
feet. They do it sitting down on the ground with like, they're just like hugging the freaking sheep. She doesn't know what's going on. She's like, "Oh, that's lovely. Oh, dude, that whoa, go over. Oh, you cut that one off." And then she's like, "Oh, that's it. Oh, what?"
So there was something about like keeping your sheep out of the sand or not allowing something to like rub against the ground, or maybe have a place for them to lay that's separate from sand, because of course you don't want rocks
Yeah,
and sand in your shears.
yeah.
Well, sweet guys,
Wow.
we've been going on for an hour. Let's call it.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining. Remember, if you haven't planted any potatoes yet, you will go hungry this fall. So like all it takes is a deep bucket, a little bit of dirt to get you going. Plant a few potatoes. You can add to the bucket as summer goes on, and you just add soil and keep covering the potato as it comes up, and you'll end up with a huge pipe full of potatoes by the end of the year. Trust me, man. You'll thank me when autumn comes. I don't want to go hungry this year. It's gonna suck.
Diraj, last words.
No, nothing special. Just follow us on Hex Foodies. You can join us in the Telegram chat. The link is in the description of the channel. And if you have any uh, questions or any particular comments, you can catch us there. I usually read all my messages, and my DMs are open. So if you know, My DMs are open. See you guys later. Thank you.
Every Tuesday. See y'all.
See ya, guys.